Today he completely forgot the safe word. Their safe word is Drano. Like when you make want to drink Drano. That's like, okay, walk away.
Right.
Well, the other day they started talking and he's like, when was the last time you drank bleach? And Jason's like, dude, I got you so mad you don't even remember it's Drano.
Right. That's funny.
Just thought I'd warn you, we're live.
Oh,
On YouTube or Facebook?
YouTube.
oh wow. Hello
Okay.
there.
Gotta be
That's no
nice.
bueno. I gotta behave.
No more talking about poop.
Why start now?
What was that? They will come? What were you talking about? Build a dream and build it in the car.
There you go. Build a dream.
Great movie, Kevin Costner, you know. His dad showed up as a baseball player and then he became a doctor to save his kid.
Spoiler alert!
Just playing with a stick. What can I say?
Oh, Lord.
Oh Lord, bring the breeze.
Somebody's gonna pee. We're finna have pee in the back.
And that one we have on tape.
You gonna bring Misty again?
How far do they go on the ground? Just to stay up pretty high.
That's funny.
Is that wonder or experience?
Vodka.
With a little tail in it.
Just so you know, you just go in, you make a left, and it's a straight shot.
Not really. But if you've had vodka, it'll be a straight shot.
We know you had ice cream.
Hey, Red. Afternoon.
Vodka doesn't take much because remember she's lightweight now.
Don't take much. Don't take much. Nathan, you need to kill some more of these flies. They're getting thick over here.
Get him over here with that bazooka.
Damage over it.
He's scared of
Yeah,
running out.
Nathan has a new toy.
I told him I'd tussle with the mountain.
Show off your toy, Nathan.
I'd say it's the one in his lap.
Go ahead.
but that doesn't sound right.
I was going to say the one in his hand, but that wouldn't do any good either.
Now, the one I said in his lap wouldn't sound good either. And they're both on live right now.
Somebody get him a headband so that way he can be like, they drew first blood, not me.
You really haven't been drinking, folks, I promise.
This is what you get when you spend Monday at Bear Homestead.
Yeah, pull up your pants, please. We don't need your underwear on the live stream.
Wait, you twerking?
Butt on live stream this morning.
Somebody call Sydney.
Are you twerking?
Yep, she was.
Yep, she was shaking booty.
Well, that sounds like something Sydney would have done.
I just said. Someone call Sydney.
God, we hope not. You had cheese.
Does anybody come in?
There's 8.
8 people.
Susie, how are you, Miss Bandana Grandma? Come on over to
Somebody else that needs to come on down here.
over to Georgia.
She's so sweet.
Yes, she sells ponchos real cheap, huh, Susie?
It's a garden dibble. Garden dibble?
He said the garden devil. I was like, what? Yes, I need one of those too.
You know what that's modeled after? It is.
That's older than that.
We're off now.
Yeah.
They don't want monetized on this live stream.
Well, she sent me a Marco last week asking about, I didn't think Jews believed in heaven. Well, we don't believe in the follow-up edition either, so
That's because you just ain't read it yet.
I see.
And I think you'd enjoy it. It's a love story.
Who is there? There is Nathan and Johnny and Misty and Keith, and they're from Mama Z's Texas Kitchen. And
Oh yeah, she didn't say your channel though, Nathan.
she knows Nathan, Samson Farms.
Worst channel out there.
And Shayla from making lemonade from lemons, right? Did I say that right?
You did.
Yeah. I know,
He's
I had to
another one
ask.
that
Yeah.
butchers it.
Well, you know that guy there.
Yeah, that's Daryl from Acupunctures R Us.
Deanna from Naturally NC. And over there in the weeds is Robin. And you know him. Mr. Jason. Hardneck Farms, how are you, Wendy? What you doing in Oklahoma today?
Where'd you put it, honey?
Is it because they don't
In
sweat?
the tea garden?
Oh, no.
No, but I'm gonna do that later.
I was trying to teach them,
I
but
still gotta
we
put
don't
other
see it
stuff
around
in
our
the
house. Yeah, we don't have a whole lot either. We used to have them all the
Bring
time
over
whenever I
my
was
place
a
at
kid.
least one.
What?
Sweat bees.
You don't see them that much anymore.
Someone.
You did see them occasionally.
Yes, Allie, that is Shayla making lemonade from lemons. You're right.
I said,
And
so,
Mr. Darryl.
I took care of it.
Allie says, hi, girl. Allie Oakley.
She's super sweet.
Allie is super sweet. I'm only saying that because she can hear me. Right, Allie?
Alex is a sweetheart.
She is.
She left the sweetest message for me on my video last night.
Family, how are you? Yep, Mama Texas, yep.
Really?
What?
That's cool. Chris actually knows the guy. That's the only reason he subs. But that's still cool.
Oh, look who just came on. Did you want to do that dance again? Sydney, you missed it. There we go. Sydney, that he's in Texas.
He's back in Texas.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't miss it. My booty shaking radar went off and I went zoop.
He's laughing. And Sydney, that one was also not photoshopped. Just like yours.
Him belly dancing wasn't photoshopped neither.
I
This
saw
show
it
didn't
live.
make me
I
throw up
saw
in
it
my
live.
mouth.
Sydney, like they've
Someone
got
said
his
you never need to.
his hair burnt. I saw it live.
Mm-hmm. When he jumped and turned white?
Yep.
Yep.
I did.
Yep.
Works on ants too.
What else does it work on?
Keep shooting the salt in my ground. That's good.
Apparently kids.
Won't have to worry about grass in that spot, will you?
Wonder where they got to.
Hey, so Robin, what does it feel like to be able to go into our garden and harvest without Sydney trying
Hey,
to eat,
Teresa.
eat everything that you're
I
harvesting?
waved at my phone. Your phone.
Don't let him see those peas. He'll be back to eat peas.
Basket.
He was hilarious. I look over and he's like shoving his mouth full.
You look like a chipmunk.
And I was like, dude, are you gonna put him in the basket? He's
Oh,
like,
I thought we
"What?"
was out here eating.
I thought we were out here eating.
Looks like Teresa came in.
Uh-huh.
It was the buffet.
I guess that's supposed to be one of those. Is that a cosmic?
Let's go with yes.
We're in Georgia, Allie. We are at Big Bear Homestead.
Boop, boop. Go like and subscribe.
It's not, the celebration is we're here.
I think
You were invited, Sydney, remember?
take on some photos.
I asked you what you were doing this weekend, and
Here.
I invited you just like I invited everyone else without asking Robin or Jason. Come,
We brought food.
we're gonna. I said we're gonna be at Big Bear's this particular weekend. Come on over. Oh, is that okay, Jason and Robin, that I did that?
I flew from Texas.
Yes.
I flew from Texas, dude.
Her arms are really tired when she got here
So you
too.
beat me to that one too.
You got it somewhere. Yep. And Sydney, your dog, your friend is over there somewhere under the camper, where it's shady. Yep. Oops. My arm.
Who is?
Tomorrow.
Sydney.
So
Passed in the airport.
does that mean you're going to be here tomorrow night to visit? Because we're not leaving till. No, we're not leaving till Tuesday.
Oh.
So Sydney, you know what that means.
We'll have fried chicken and collard greens for you.
And watermelon.
Daryl said bye. Making me feel bad.
Wendy, we're in Georgia. We're at Big Bear Homestead.
Subscribe.
Subscribe to Big Bear Homestead.
Ring the bell.
Hit all notifications.
It won't matter.
Yeah.
YouTube hates us.
You'll get it 3 days later.
Right?
You just turn that notification thing on. They don't send emails no more.
I don't get any notifications for anybody.
Mm-mm.
You know what? I don't get emails.
I
from
always
anybody
get
anymore.
Broussard's live notification.
Like 3 days later.
No, like 15 minutes before we go live on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't ever get any of y'all notifications. I just know y'all put a video out.
Francine, hi,
when I'm
honey.
sitting
How
at
are
the TV and I
you?
go to
Papa,
subscriptions.
Texas, how are you?
Oh, there's Shayla.
When did she put that? 3 days ago.
I only knew that you put your video out.
I left
because
them at
noticed
home,
it and
Red.
put it in the
I didn't
group
bring them.
right before I went and promoted my live this morning. I'm like, oh crap.
Hey,
Shayla put a video
TNS,
out.
how are you?
And you know what's funny about the
I know.
live that you were promoting, and you set it up early, and I showed them. And I said, I don't know if I should tell her or it could just be here at my settings. But usually when I do the TV, sometimes YouTube won't load quickly, so I have to just scroll down the side where you got search.
Hey, Mr.
home.
Mach 1, how are you? Long time no
Recommended.
see.
The game bar for gamers showed up, and you were the first who showed up, and I was like,
For gamers?
that's weird. And so I didn't say anything because I figured it was just my TV. You know, so I don't know.
No, I've got it like I'm under education. I think is what I am under. I don't know, and I never know where to put a cooking channel.
You can put it underneath education, people and blogs.
There's a potato trying to grow over here.
Good, let it grow.
Let it grow.
Let it grow.
I've experimented with education and how to and style.
Yeah.
I don't know
Um,
about style.
I think a lot. I think it definitely fits with how to.
I think they should let you clarify your channel with more than one because, I mean, especially as homesteaders,
Right.
as homesteaders, you do multiple
You delve
things.
into so
You do
much.
Yep.
people and blogs, you do
Yep.
education, you're doing DIY stuff.
Yeah.
You
You
really
know.
think that little setting matters?
Of course not.
We ate the food already, Allie. It's in the house.
Yep.
It was great food.
It was.
Yes.
Well, I had read a big deal that
We'll have enough for
YouTube
supper
creators or whatever that it.
if anybody's hungry.
Yeah.
After the
About
kids ate, they're still alive.
how
Yeah.
important
Oh, I'd
it
say I haven't
is.
been back in the house.
There is not a for cooking channels. There's not a tab for that. There's not a tab for cooking channels.
Francine,
So
over there
just like
is
there's not a-
the one waving is, well, you know Nathan, Samson
Not a
Farms. You
tab
met him
for
in
any
Kentucky.
auto mechanics
This
or
is Misty
wood.
from Mama
Wood
Z's
shop.
Texas Kitchen. Her husband just walked in the house. That is Shayla making lemonade from lemons. You know that guy over there. And Deanna from Naturally NC. And Jason from Big Bear Homestead. Yep. Go subscribe. And his wife
has their
is
own tab.
back here playing in the garden.
Gamers have their own tab.
Whoa, there we go.
Well, that's because
Flying
YouTube
around.
started out as a gamers channel.
Yeah.
You know, it's a gamers thing.
Yeah.
That's why the biggest channels are gamer channels.
Yeah.
Because they've been there forever.
Mm-hmm.
Three biggest channels are game channels.
And they've also been at it the longest.
Yep.
You know, which really doesn't matter either because we're probably the oldest homesteading channel.
Thank you,
and
Francine.
in the middle of the road. It all boils down to high school.
All
That's what
good
it
people
boils
here.
down to. Popular kids are still popular. And
Oh, you should come here then, Allie. She has some awesome basil.
we call it basil.
Basil.
I like that.
You bought some basil here?
Yeah, we have basil here.
They have
And it's
basil
called
here.
just to get on Robin's
Basil's
nerves.
yummy.
Basil salty.
Ain't that right, lover?
Yep. Did you show them all the oregano? The oregano.
No.
What are you doing?
Oh yeah, Kathy, we left Florida last Sunday morning.
What are you
with
frustrated
Kara
about?
having the
It
autoimmune
didn't grow.
disorders
Oh.
and her wearing a mask all the time, I couldn't spend the time with her like I wanted.
Crap.
So Daryl and I
What?
discussed it, and then I discussed it with Kara, and we left early.
What?
We'll be back next
I got
year.
a tomato
So
plant
we
that's
were here by Monday afternoon.
going crazy.
Man, everything went downhill from there. Daryl got violated.
Not hear a word you're saying.
Daryl has grass and he starts to bleed.
Oh, the look on his face. Oh my God.
Wow. Francine said she tried 18 different basils this year.
Goodness.
I mean, I couldn't even get one
Hey,
basil.
Michelle.
You know, I had trouble with basil this year myself. Last year I didn't have a.
It was
bit of
slow to
trouble.
start this year, but then once it got going, boy.
That's a lie. I had one random plant pop up in a flower pot on my front porch that I don't even remember planting. I had that last year. Last year in my flower patch, I had a whole bunch of basil come up. And I never planted basil over there.
And it's funny. It's like if you listen to everybody this year, 2020 made everything go like a month behind.
Yes.
You know. And
But
it
you
was
know, one of the things that grew for me that didn't grow for a lot of other people was my roselle. My Thai roselle,
it was like even for that month of lockdown, the vegetables said, "Okay, we'll stay home."
I can't read the comments, Deanna, so got the sun in my eyes.
Yes, Allie, the kids are here with Shayla.
I have Shayla's kids. We have Nathan's daughter and Big Bear's 2 daughters.
They're all out there.
And no sooner did they meet up, they were best friends.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the image that they're going, but I'm still wondering if they don't have Shayla's kids tied up to a tree somewhere.
The 3 boys.
The boys are going to go home and be like, man, those were some scary girls.
I'm never getting married.
They looked like they were having a fine time. I love that she loves them.
Right up underneath the bed.
Carol keeps knives under her bed and sleeps with an aluminum back.
I got Snippy nunchucks for her birthday. Oh, yes, Allie. My boys are crazy. They're
But
crazy.
boy, can Nick make cookies.
Yeah, he made cookies for us to bring down
Sure
here.
did.
Michelle wants to know how Johnny is.
Sleep.
She's napping.
She's sleepy.
Other than that, she's mean as always.
Well, look who she has to live with.
I know, but tempers ain't that bad.
I knew he was going to say that. I walked right into that
He
one.
did.
But
Yep. Sure did.
Nope, Rama's messing with a tomato plant.
As well as she can, living with Nathan, you know.
Tempers is the one who does it. Tempers is mean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, she's been
Mhm.
real mean since
Yep.
Y'all are new people.
Is she? Have we even seen her though? Have we ain't
Barely.
Seen, we ain't seen the kids since we came back from walking
Don't
the
ruin
boys.
it, man. Don't ruin it.
I spoke to her in there. She's tall.
Yes, she is.
I know, she's taller than me.
Come on, Shayla. That's not difficult.
And then they're like,
You and I are the gnomes around this stump. We are. Yeah. We are short.
I mean, I seriously have warned y'all.
Well, you'd give Rachel a run for her money.
She's a quarter inch shorter than her mom.
Yeah, she's gonna be a tall woman.
She's going to be tall.
And if only she would have been cute.
She is cute. She's a beautiful young lady. Yes, she is.
it's all right. She'll be like Carol. Carol's just gonna beat some boy into submission to her. You will marry me. Now go talk to my daddy.
I can see that. I can see that.
Do show up with a swole up eye. I told you.
But I love that about her. Yeah,
So- She's going to wear sunglasses in the dark.
Okay. feel like these girls could have their own little homestead mafia.
Oh yeah.
Nothing. She done told him twice.
That's like I told Robin. I said, I think we might have messed up a little bit. She's like, why? I said, because Carol's gonna have to, well, either one of the girls are gonna have to marry the guy's either gonna have to be super strong or he's gonna be a bitch.
Yeah, Dee and I were actually talking about that on the way down here. Is that, you know, my dad, as much as he tried to he tried to get me to be the
Submissive one?
submissive one, he failed miserably at it because he would then, but here, learn to change your own oil, change a tire. Here's, you need all these skills in case you don't have a man to take care of you, but then wear a dress to church and do all these things. But here, you need these skills in case you don't have a man to take care of you. But here, you need to learn how to shoot a gun, do these things. Like your girls have all these skills that they're gonna have a man because they want a man, not because they need a man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's not a bad thing.
Drops Family Garden says, that's pretty much what my wife said to me. We're getting married.
You know, they're gonna have a life partner because they want one, not because they need a guy to take care
I
of.
don't know, from the conversation we had earlier, I didn't think a man was necessary.
Oh no.
All you need is a good garden dibble.
Exactly.
Or an octopus.
Hello, sideways Miles.
Yeah, your time is not getting out of time.
The bad part, the YouTube algorithm just went, wait a minute. They're talking about relationships. How did we get to octopus?
Right? Seafood. Seafood. Robin's over there sunning herself.
Sydney said, I don't need a man either.
Well, thank God, Sydney.
Sydney probably actually
But he
does.
could use a good octopus.
Sydney, I'll get with Tori later.
Right now, he is scared to death.
He don't know what he walked into.
He would probably love this conversation.
And Tori's probably looking at him going, told you not to type that. You don't never listen to me.
Oh, he's totally in on the conversation.
I can't.
You know what I mean. I already got with her, if you know what I mean.
Just threw it on over there.
And we just kept on going sideways. Took that left turn and kept on trucking.
Goodbye, Albuquerque. Look, my wife even knows it's going sideways, and she just got up.
She left.
Michelle said, will a boy get past Jason to date Carol?
That's a good question.
I don't think a boy's going to have to worry about Jason.
Right? I don't think so.
If he
Yeah,
gets past Carol.
he's in. Yeah.
I don't know.
Carol's got a good head on her shoulders.
She's also got a good right cross.
She sure does. I saw that at the HOA 2 years ago.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Scared me to death.
She's got a nice firm handshake.
She scared me to death at the HOA.
And you better introduce yourself correctly, too, to Carol.
Yes.
I thought for sure Amy was going to ask us to leave, and so we went up there the next morning and told Amy. And then what happened, and then Amy looked at Carol and said, next time break his nose. And I'm like, that's not the answer I was looking for.
What happened?
Some boy was just, he was some public school kid.
He
that
was flirting.
It was trying to, he had, like, he was supposed to be big and bad. He was a football player and had his numbers shaved in the side of his head. And that's one thing with Carol. Don't come in acting like you're the big dog on the block, because she's going to be like, let's see how big of a dog you are.
Mm-hmm.
And she told him, She's so funny because you can watch it from a distance. She'll tell somebody and then she'll hold her hand out and she'll just put one finger out. And she'll just hold that finger out there. And then she'll tell them again and then she holds two. Then it comes again and the next thing you know all you hear is, eat the grass! Eat the grass! And then you hear Robin going, Carol, let him go!
Yep. They were all playing on the hill behind
No, I
you.
didn't call you, baby.
Yeah, it probably started with her saying, hi, my name's Carol, and he said, sup.
Sup?
The only difference is I can see that conversation going way different than the one that happened at HOA. Because that boy was very much in the let me pull your hair stage.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Carol said, who's your daddy now?
Go, Carol.
Yep. He went to push her again and she grabbed him and went, and I went, ooh. I'm gonna hear about that later.
Good for her.
And then all you heard was, eat the grass.
You're like, yeah, that's my baby.
And then I guess he ate some grass because then the next thing was do you yield? And you hear Robin go, Carol, let him go. And he just took off.
All I could think was she is going to either dislocate this kid's shoulder or she's going to break his arm.
She
And
had
they're
him
going
dead to
be
rights.
held liable.
Great, though.
That was a
it's not
solid
gonna be-
arm bar. Bruce Lee was in heaven going, that's what I'm talking about.
There's three of the
There's
kids.
you, fruit of my loins.
Ladessa.
Exactly. He was like, that's my child.
I was just sitting there watching it, just waiting for the snap. And then I would have been like, oh.
Fruit of his loins.
Yeah,
That's fruit of his loins.
And then we go to Amy and tell her, trying to, look, you're probably going to hear about it. Yes, it did happen. And Amy looked Carol dead in the eye and said, next time, break his nose. And I went, that's not going to go over well with Robin. Because then Carol got all kinds of excited, like somebody just gave her a Christmas gift. Right. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
That's what I do.
And I just said, remember the rule of three. Remember the rule of three. Because I don't think you'll get two with this kid no more. And then at Homesteading Life, 180 degrees, their boy,
Lawrence.
I think he's smitten with Ladessa.
Mm-hmm.
And they had some little kid over there that ended up kicking Ladessa in the shin. And I didn't know anything about it until walking up. Ethan's dad. Ethan's talking to him and he's like, you kind of put me in a rock and a hard place. And I was like, okay. It's one of those conversations. And I just went to walk on by and Ethan kind of grabs me and pulls me over there. And he said, tell him what you did. And I went, oh no. And so he's like, little boy kicked Ladessa. And he goes, and so I put him on his back. Well, I guess he just like tackled the dude. Just boom, just bowled him over and was getting ready to start to beat the snot out of him before a grown-up ended up grabbing a hold of him. And I was like, kind of looked over at Ethan, and I'm like, please don't hate me. I stuck my hand out and I said, thank you, sir. I appreciate you standing up for my little girl like that. And I said, come on, I'll go buy you a soda or something.
There's somebody coming down the driveway?
That's what it sounds like.
Somebody coming down the
It
driveway?
is.
Yeah, that's Carol.
Oh.
Oh. It's like I hear a truck.
That's Carol.
Yeah, they're just getting back to town.
That's Carol in her hoopty, thinking she's somebody.
I think the boys got lost along the way.
They're inside
Oh, are they?
with Ladessa and Robin. and temperance. Okay, folks.
That was the
I'm
best
gonna shut
thing
this
I ever
down.
done, was let her start to drive that truck, because then all of a sudden she got excited about doing chores and stuff. And I'm like, that worked.
Should have done this a year ago.
Yeah, really. That's a win-win situation right there.
Absolutely.
So everyone have a great evening.
Oh, you going off?
Yeah.
Have we been on an hour already?
No.
I'll stay on an hour.
Okay.
Because there ain't no telling what kind of views you're going to get from some of the stories that may pop up in the next 5 minutes. Maybe we need to hang out with them homesteaders, because we don't know what's in their tomatoes, but you gotta be good.
The comedy club of Georgia.
You got the guy over there making tomato sandwiches and putting the salt on the tomatoes even before they get their sandwiches. Tomatoes already got salt on them, they still want mine.
What happens when you give me a salt with?
You go assault things.
Get a little pepper, I can mix it in there together. I bet it'd launch it too.
Oh God.
Dude.
It bites.
Yes. Dessa!
Oh, here we go. I was just gonna say I don't have any ground pepper in there, but I know you do.
Dessa! Hey, get Mr. Nathan some ground pepper. Get Mr. Nathan the ground pepper. She understands that.
Oh, Crystal, we wish you were here. That's kids for you. Because, you know, my boys say that every time that they hear me talk, or my husband is like Charlie Brown, you know, and womp, 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 womp. But, you know, so if you're saying womp, 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 I guess maybe they really understand it.
Give it to Nathan.
Hey, then go get a piece of bread and put some mayonnaise on it. Let's make a sandwich.
Run for the hills, Ladessa. Run for the hills.
We're just making flies sneeze.
Just the other life is at single dad homesteading today.
Yeah.
Doing deer something, sausage smoking. Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's coming down
Yes,
in a week or
horticulture.
two.
It has got to be Duke's.
Yeah, I said mayonnaise.
Yes, they said it better be Duke's.
You in the South, you use any other mayonnaise in the South other than Duke's,
You're going to get cut.
you're going to get lynched. The hell's the matter? Don't get that Miracle Whip shit out of here.
I know my husband, he's from Colorado, so he didn't understand about Duke's until I was like, he said at his job, nobody lets anything except Duke's in that fridge. And I was like, yeah, I said, we're serious about the Duke's here in the South.
Now, if Duke's don't come and sponsor Two Family Homestead, there's absolutely something wrong with it.
Right? I know.
Free gallon of Duke's for everybody.
Crystal, we saved this empty spot here for you.
It'd be like winning the lotto if you got one of those Sam Duke's containers a month for the rest of your life. I would take that over the payout for the lotto.
You know, my mom and dad buy those things.
Yeah, so do we.
There's one in the fridge.
I don't have room in my fridge for that.
Why you need another fridge?
I know, I do.
We need a freezer.
I just got another freezer though.
Sam's
so-
Club, our Sam's Club up here, it was the funniest thing. We had to stop at Sam's Club. They needed to pick some stuff up, so it was right after the treatment. So I just started walking around to keep everything nice and loose. And I walked down and I was like, "There's no paper towels, no toilet paper." And I'm like, "Great, we started this again." And I hooked the corner, and all of a sudden, here's this nice upright freezer, and right beside it was a nice chest freezer. I'm, Robin, maybe we should.
Isn't that where we bought our chest freezer? Was it Sam's?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got ours from, we got one of them from H.H. Gregg, and then I think we got the other one from Best Buy.
Mhm.
And they're still going strong.
I needed a new one because we're getting a side of like a half a cow We're getting that in October, so
Which half you getting?
whichever half they give us.
And I'm wondering why you went somewhere else other than here to get a
I
half a cow.
didn't know that you were selling.
How did you not know? How did you not know? We talk about it all the time.
Because on 420 something, you said you wasn't gonna sell anything above until you ate.
You know, I'm really, I like the fact that you watch my channels, the fact that you quote the stuff I say. Because right now I can't argue with you whether or not I got to go back and look.
I remember
watch
you
it.
saying
He
that.
said that he wasn't gonna
I
sell
just didn't
anything
remember the
above
day.
until he tries it with that longhorn. To make
That's
sure
both.
I
I got
remember
5
that.
other steers out there.
I didn't know that.
How did you not know that? In every live stream you see them just about. When Robin's on her walkabout, this is Harry and Ferdinand and Boots and Shoes and
I don't know what
Leroy
you
and-
have plans for.
Harry Flopper.
You have plans for them, right?
I only got plans for 1 1/4 now.
See, I didn't know that.
I got,
If I had known
look,
that,
I've only got 1/4 of 1 cow already sold, so I got 3/4 of a cow up for sale.
I don't know how we'd
Oh,
get
really?
it home.
I think, well, let me rephrase that. I may have just another half, not even, maybe another 1/4 because I can't remember the deal I made with Chris. It may be for half.
I was about to say, well, let me know what you're selling it for, because we would be interested.
well, see, that's what I'm getting ready
Chris
to
can buy
say.
part, I'll buy the other one.
I mean,
Maybe,
Harry Flopper was looking tasty earlier.
maybe my husband and I need to deal with you at least once a year.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Do you also sell rodent cages?
Wow, you just gonna bring that kind of stuff up.
Oh, there's a backstory to that.
I know the backstory, remember?
Oh, what happens on a 2-family live stream? Nothing is sacred.
Lone Star Living wants to know what we ate.
Jonathan!
Oh,
Nathan!
not
Yeah,
tomatoes straight from the garden.
Jason did maybe. We didn't.
It was a drive-by. Drive-by Connemara. Now that I learned that piece of information, I am so glad in all of my scuba diving career, I have never seen an octopus.
I'm glad that I gave you that little piece of information there.
Now I don't want to see one because now I'm going to be like,
That's why I don't like
Ducking.
Do you have one?
be like Joe Pesci from Goodfellas. Don't you do it. I bet you my phone's going to blow up in about 15 minutes. Okay, what's this story about octopus?
Crystal said her and Donald will come sleep in your yard.
Come on. They know they got an open invitation.
Yeah, one more texting can't hurt. One more texting can't hurt.
That's the turd herder.
Yeah, the turd herder.
She said that about her husband. Robin had a mouthful of tea. And it went everywhere.
I bet.
Because Robin's supposed to be a mature one of the relationship, but you say something about poop, and all of a sudden she's like 3.
We know that. That's why remember that one day we all went poop on Marco. Everybody was going poop. Just for Robin.
And see, the bad thing is when the girls were little, they knew that. So Robin would get the fussing at them, then poop. She'd start laughing. All of a sudden, they weren't in trouble anymore.
They weren't dumb. They're smart. Those are smart girls.
Don't hate the player, Daddy. Hate the game.
Searching Sabrina says hello to everybody.
Nips.
Robin.
That's what she says, Nips.
Robin. Come here.
Poop.
We can still tell you're laughing because your shoulders are shaking. And Robin has a bad tendency sometimes to be like Monica from Friends. And so when we were first married, she'd get fussing about something. And I'd just take whatever magazine and newspaper, whatever I was reading, I just throw it on the floor. Might be over. She'd go over there, pick it up, then get distracted because she'd see something else and start cleaning up the house. It was awesome. So she figured out what I was doing.
Oh, Lord. And it's
Do
on.
not shoot my beaver, raccoon, or the deer heads.
Hell, anything with 2 legs is fair game. As we see,
Jeremy gets
Oh,
his hands up.
Isaac. He's so smart. He's so book smart, but sometimes he has no common sense.
a lot of book smart people are like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
deal.
Blaze was like that.
That's why if we're on live. If crap ever hits the fan, that's why you want that guy on your side, people.
Right.
That's why you want that man on your side. Because he's going to be... Wait,
This sounds like an Allstate commercial or something.
I know,
It
right?
does.
They all went out the back door. Jason.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have a salt gun because I'd have been sitting right over there
Uh-huh.
in the ambush.
They all ran out the back door.
We need a fully automatic salt gun. Mounted on top of that busted up truck with the butterfly trigger. That's a lot of salt though at one shot. That's liable to hurt somebody. It'll be alright. It's just salt.
Just salt.
It's only a flesh wound.
Just a little bruise.
I actually know what movie you're referencing this.
I'm surprised.
How many times can you make a kid flip?
Are you kidding? How many times did they play that at church? Remember?
No, that's true.
I hear children screaming in the
Yep.
woods. Yep.
In the back door. Back door.
I feel like this is the thing that horror movies are made
Now you're gonna figure out which kid is gonna die first if this was a horror movie.
Yes.
Let's go to the graveyard. Hide behind these
That's
chainsaws.
what I've never understood about horror movies. That's why I don't like them. I'm like, why are you going outside?
Yeah, I was thinking
Don't
which
go
one's gonna go
outside.
into the shed with all the sharp things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
Crystal, because Nathan is attacking them with a assault rifle.
Literally, salt. S-A-L-T.
I was going to say, just spell that out.
3 words. A salt rifle.
Because in about 5 minutes now, Elbert County's finest is gonna be at my door.
Yeah, right. Come out.
And the
with your
whole 2
hands
SWAT
up.
members that they have. Looking at me going, Jason, what are you doing?
It's salt. Yes, Crystal, Nathan, that explains it all.
Yeah. You'll have to say nothing. I've just been sitting here laughing.
See, the funny thing is Nathan's probably still in my house just chilling. Just waiting on me.
I'm waiting for him to come back.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's gotta be
He might have fell asleep on the same chair that Sydney fell asleep on.
Jason, I think that happened here. We're the ones live, so they're at our house right now.
Nah.
They're knocking on the door.
Yeah. Not like we haven't
Somebody's knocking.
had that happen before.
Yeah.
Well, that means tomorrow night someone's going to deliver a cheese pizza.
Look, as soon as that stuff started happening, and then I heard about the red flag laws, I went straight to the sheriff.
Yeah.
I went straight to the sheriff and said, look, you're more than welcome to come out during the daylight hours. Come out, I'll show you everything I got. If you want to be, up front, we can be transparent. I said, but I'm popular enough in YouTube now that you might have some motard, try to start something. And he was like, I don't need to come to your house. I know you.
Did you see Crystal said that
Yeah.
he's on the toilet?
Yeah. Crystal said Nathan's on the toilet pinging him from the window.
It better not be. I just fixed that screen. Well, really, Daryl just fixed that screen. I just put it back in. And it's aluminum, so that salt might back ricochet. No, he's probably just in the house waiting because he knows they're going to come back in. Because they're kids.
I
heard it.
Sydney said, I don't know what you're talking about.
Is that what that was?
Again.
Photoshopped, right, Sydney? Photoshopped.
It was like, at first we started with Nerf guns and then we went to airsoft.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a semi-tight little group of kids and grown-ups that were playing with airsoft. And this one guy, he had a saw. Airsoft, it looked just like a saw. It was fully automatic.
Wow.
I was running around with my little M16 and we got Blaze pinned. And it was a perfect ambush. He was sitting on the porch just waiting. And Blaze, you know, I'm faster than Daddy. He thinks he's faster than Daddy. So he went to hook around the house. And he come down past that guy, and that guy just lit him up. And Blaze dropped his gun and kept running. And I was like, that, son, is called an ambush. Oh, you're real big and bad, boy. He got all kinds of salty.
I bet he did. Never enough time to ask him what red flag laws are.
Red flag law was a law that they were trying to push through that if it was a family member or a close friend, they could call your local sheriff's department and say, I'm afraid that so-and-so was talking crazy, like he was going to go start to shoot up cops, or he may harm himself, blah, 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 blah. And they could come in and do a no-knock warrant, confiscate all your firearms, and then you had to go to court to be able to prove that you were stable enough to get your weapons back.
Yeah.
By then, they're a stapler or a 3-hole punch, you know? And it's a lot of law enforcement trying to do it and trying to force it in the middle of the night. And you don't go kicking in a vet's door in the middle of the night and think that everything's going to be a-okay.
Yeah.
Right.
There are a lot of sheriffs though that were saying that they would not.
Yeah, they're not enforcing. That's when I went to mine. And he's like, I'd never enforce that law anyway. We would never do anything like that off of a phone call.
Yeah.
He said, now we may start to watch you,
Yeah.
but not off of a phone call.
What'd Sydney say? I can't read it. His is the only one I saw his name on there.
Jason Man Bun is not allowed him to use his diaphragm to talk loud.
Oh, okay. Mr. Pack of hot dogs in the back of the head gonna start talking smack.
Here comes Nathan.
Hey,
There's Nathan.
at least I don't have to be half naked. He's going after Carol.
Here, come watch my video. I'm half naked holding hanging pots.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Brett.
Hey, Brett.
So many of my favorite people in one place. You should be afraid.
Who was that, Brett?
Brett. Yeah.
Be very afraid. With his mustache he got going on.
Well, and the red laws too, or anybody who, if they were even talking in Texas, like if you take your doctor prescribes you a little antidepressant, well, you can't be mentally stable enough, so you don't need to own a firearm. I mean, it was getting hairy.
Yeah.
Which could be, on the other hand, could be scary. People not seeking any kind of help for depression. It was just.
It's a double-edged sword because you can that just opens up a can for people that need it to stop going to get help.
Yep.
But two, the first group of folks that they're going to target is vets.
Right.
Because I mean the VA medicates everybody.
Yeah.
And I mean you can go in there and go, I keep getting this hangnail. Oh, well then you need this antipsychotic.
Maybe you need a little Paxil for that.
Yeah. And so they would come and get all of those weapons, and then just like there was a point in time, the VA, anytime you'd show up, they started asking you about how many firearms and stuff that you had
Oh
in
wow.
the house, and I was like, that has absolutely nothing to do with my physical.
Yeah,
That ain't none of your business.
yeah. I had him ask about whether or not I had access to firearms before.
They've asked Chris that on his yearly too.
Yep.
And he thought of it.
I said,
I started asking them, so does a stealth bomber count? Or, are you just talking like a little pew-pew?
that sounds like something you'd say, Jason.
A1 tank, is that?
So I got a tank in the backyard.
And it reminds me of of Jericho. That was the best line out of Jericho when they confiscated that tank. And he's like, can we put that in your barn? Why are we keeping it? You never know when you're going to need the tank. Always good to have a tank.
Yeah, of course.
It's like I told Blaze, I said, if it ever goes real sideways and everything goes crazy, you find the first LAV or tank and just start driving it home.
Sydney said, gotta go and get ready for our live. Have fun, everyone. ... And Jason.
And it's funny, ain't none of us coming to your live.
Crazy.
That's my boy, though. He's good people.
Yes, he is. They're scheming something over there.
Yeah. The day that Apollo died, him and Tori were just they wouldn't they were super supportive, and then they went and did their live, and Robin showed up, and Sydney started getting all teary eyed because him and Apollo were buds,
Right.
and because they on Thanksgiving they fell asleep together on the couch. Apollo put his head on Sydney's lap. And so we sent the picture to Tori, and she's like, he's always telling me he's afraid of big dogs. And both of them snoring up a storm.
Big dogs are the best.
The very funny thing is, Gizmo, he purrs.
Really?
It was the weirdest thing. I almost choked him out because Carol was petting him, and it sounded like he was growling. I was fixing to just hammer him and let him know where his place was. And I got to looking at him like, he is not growling. And it was listening and listening and listening. I said, Robin, that stupid dog is purring. She's like, nuh-uh. I said, listen to him. And he was,
Cat dog.
and when she'd stop, because you get him right behind his ear and you just started rubbing it. And he does this like cheesy smile, look like Cheech from Cheech and Chong. And he flops. He's a flopper.
Oh, yeah.
He goes to start to lay down, and then he just throws his front feet out from the side of me, and boom, and it's like, dude, that's got to hurt.
Right.
And then he'll get there, and he'll just lay there, and then he starts to snore. And he sounds like an 80-year-old man that's been a smoker his entire life the way he snores.
Smudge. Same way.
No. Because the night that when Apollo passed, we went ahead and brought him in the house, and the girls gave him a bath, and then that's when we learned he like must have been Zsa Zsa Gabor or something in a previous life or something, because they tried to towel dry him, and he was like, no, blow dry me. So they got the blow dryer out, and he just sat there all proud and everything. And so we all pulled our mattresses out into the living room, pushed the couch over to where it basically blocked off that entryway to the dining room. Well, he climbed up on the couch and went to sleep. And we're laying there, and you just hear it. And I was like, what the crap is that? And went over and listened to Odessa, and she was doing her little tiny snore. And Carol wasn't snoring. And then I got closer to the dog because Carol is his person. And And I was like, no way, why you over here listen? Sure enough, it was good enough.
Francine asked what kind of dog. He said,
The big Pyrenees. Great Pyrenees. And that, that's the funny thing about, and I don't know if it's that breed in general or whatever. Like when we first brought him home, Apollo was trying to be like, what is this? And he would duck up underneath the truck so Apollo couldn't get to him. And then we finally brought him in the house, and him and Apollo would play, and Apollo would put a paw on him and hold him down and then look at us like, I hate you.
right.
But then we ended up putting him out in the shop. And he would climb up on my wood pile, my scrap wood pile, climb up on the top of it and lay down and go to sleep. And then you'd be like, come on, let's go in the house, let's go in the house. And he wouldn't come. You're like, all right, stay there then. And lock him in the shop. And he'd always want to go high. First started bringing him back in the house, he'd try to climb up on the back of the couch and lay down and go to sleep. He got up on my dining room table and tried to go to sleep. And he climbs up. Now he sleeps in Carol's room, but she has to clear her desk off because he climbs up on the desk. And
wow.
He lays on the table.
he lays on the desk, looks out
window.
these two windows, and then he has that other window there. And he's just pretty much, he's up all night standing guard over
He'll
Carol.
bark. Like if we have something get out,
And he is
on top,
protecting Carol.
And I will tell you what, the other day I thought he was going to come right through those glass panes because the pigs came up onto where the slop bucket was.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought for sure he was going to crack that glass because he just kept, hitting it. And because the pig was literally on the right other side because they had knocked the bucket over and it was right there on the ground. So they were pushing it right towards the wall to be able to pick it up.
Right.
And he lost his mind. It took us a while to calm him down.
He's going to be a good dog to go off with Carol when she goes to college. Because if Carol stays relatively close, our plan is to go buy a little cottage. Because we were looking, when it was getting time for Blaze, Alvin and I, because he wanted to go to UGA and he had the scores.
Yeah.
He took the SAT the first time and looked at it. He come back all frustrated, and I was like, what? And he's like, I don't think I did good. I'm like, oh, okay.
He got a 1360 or something, on his first shot.
On his first shot.
Wow.
He got the scores, and he's like, all right, and just threw it down. And I'm like, okay, hold on. I know that we're becoming an adult, but you still live here. Give me the scores. I got enough to get into UGA. And I said, well, what did you have to get into UGA? And it was like a 1220 or something like that. And I said, well, you said you got enough. More than enough? Barely enough? And he's like, no, I'm good, Dad. Don't worry about it. So give me daggone scores. And I looked at it and I said, I just handed it to her. And he beat her SAT score.
Wow.
Yeah, and so she got a little salty about that.
I had a 1310. He got a 1360 or 1320, something like that. And I was like,
And so I was like, all right, let's figure out how to pay for it.
so we were starting to go to Airbnb. Airbnb started becoming popular. So we would go find Airbnbs close to Athens and then ride through Athens and see if we could find a small cottage. That's one thing my aunt did. She had 3 kids and they were all pretty close in age. So she went and bought a little townhome close to Baton Rouge. And all 3 kids wanted to go to LSU. So she bought a little house. And it had 3 bedrooms so that if they all needed to live there at the same time, they could. They never did because they were spaced out enough that there was never all 3 of them. But they had roommates, and the roommates paid the mortgage for the most part.
Yeah. Yep.
So when it was all said and done, they all graduated from college, and they had a piece of property to sell. And they basically paid off everybody's college by selling the house.
Wow.
Yep.
That's nice.
So we were like,
Well, we got
That
3
is
kids
brilliant.
and they're evenly spaced.
that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we started looking.
And they weren't that. I was surprised that the cottages, they weren't that really that expensive.
Under
They were just-
100,000.
They were just as cute as they could be.
Yeah.
And I was like,
We
this
could do
is good for a 20-something. Get a,
Mm-hmm.
you know, get a roommate or two, and you know, they all split the electric. Da 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 da. The other 2 pay me rent to help cover the mortgage. And I told them, you get to live there. Basically, it was you get to live there
Pretty
rent-
much rent
free.
As long as you keep
Your
the
rent
up.
is A's and B's.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then you've got to pay your portion of the electric, cable, and whatever kind of crazy stuff you guys do.
Right.
Right?
Groceries.
And make it available, because I will have pest control come out there once a month.
Mm-hmm.
Anything breaks, I'm the first person
You call.
you call. If it's something minor, go ahead and fix it, and then tell me you fixed it, because you got the knowledge, and blah, blah, blah. And, okay. I was all ready for it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because I was looking at that as going to be a cash cow. You know, once the 3 of them are gone, I may not sell it and just keep renting it out.
Yeah.
You know?
There's your retirement.
Or it's equity, you know, you
Yeah.
eventually, that's a, you
Yeah.
know.
Then go get another one.
Right.
And then another one. You know? 'Cause that's something that I do think about wanting to play with later on, is to maybe go into some of the undesirable neighborhoods and start fixing up a house. And
Flipping
turning
them?
it around. Not really flipping them, just keeping them as rental properties.
Mm-hmm.
But just,
Make sure you put
Making
the
it-
right people in there.
you know, putting them in there, but whether they're Section 8 or not, but just giving them the opportunity to have something to be proud of,
Something that's
be-
nice.
something that's
Mhm.
nice, so then that way maybe they can start
Doing better.
doing better for themselves, you know? There's nothing more frustrating than going out all day trying to find a job and then coming home and the house, and to make you feel worse, your house is falling apart, and
Right.
you know, this or that, or you got a landlord that just doesn't give a rat's patoot,
Right.
you know? You know, and if you get somebody in there that's a handyman or whatever, you know, why not let them fix up some stuff and you take it off the rent for them, you know?
Well, that's, you know, I was telling Dee, the house that we moved into when we first moved to Conroe, little 2-bedroom house, it was nothing fancy at all. In fact, every time they came to fix something in the walls, because they put mobile home, it was a little duplex, it had mobile home piping in it. It was not up to code. It was awful. We paid $520 for this place, which, okay, that was fine. We moved out 3 years ago. They did some renovations on it after we left. They had to get it to code, for one. They jacked the rent. It rents for over $1,100 now because
ridiculous.
the rent has gone up so much.
Yeah. So they can ask for it.
You know, that's one of the reasons why I'm such a big supporter of Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
Because they don't just give them person a house. You got to come out there and you got to put
Yep.
sweat equity,
Yep.
you know, and you start to do,
You still gotta be able to pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
And all that on it.
yeah, and you know,
We got dragonflies coming
Yeah.
to visit you.
and it's one of those things that, you know, I think if you empower, that's one of the reasons why we started our YouTube channel, you know, was to empower people. Because there's nothing more empowering than when you run into a situation like with this virus thing, that the food's disappearing off the shelves and you can go, oh, my food's in my front yard.
Right.
I'm gonna.
I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about that.
I mean, I may have to eat a lot of cherry tomatoes, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna have something.
Yeah.
Exactly. Green beans for days.
Yep.
But at least we'll be eating.
I got dreads for days
Yes.
right now.
You
I
know,
gotta do
it's-
something with that lemongrass.
You know, and that's one of the things that
I
frustrates
cut
me
it
about the
dry.
church at the end of the road, because they've got a majority of that our generation that it's the us for and no more, and let us just check off these boxes, and I'm going to get into heaven, and you're like, you want to grab them and shake them and say it doesn't work that way.
Right.
But I've been up there numerous times, and the last time was when, you know, it was all over the news that all the food banks and stuff were running short.
Yep.
And I went up to him and I was like, okay, what's your plan?
What plan?
What do you mean? I said,
Food
you
distribution.
have people coming up here for food once a month, and you're wrapped around the building.
And they just built that building to be able to have food storage, to be able to do food storage. Food.
And I said, so what's your plan when the Golden Harvest food bank truck doesn't show up?
Right.
And the people do.
Right.
I haven't thought about that. And I said, don't you think y'all should?
Yeah.
I said, this is what I'm willing to offer. I've already got it pretty much cleared with Baker Creek that if we get involved in something like that, we'll send
They'll
me seed for
help, yeah.
days.
Right.
I said, so why don't we, you got this whole empty softball field over here that you're literally paying somebody to come and cut.
Cut
Right.
it.
Why don't we take all of these pallets that you got sitting right here, make some raised beds,
Sure.
get them involved, let them help build the raised beds, fill it up. Lord knows, I know we could get somebody to donate some compost.
Yeah.
We'll plan it.
Big
Give-
company for tax
give
write-off.
each family, give them their own raised bed. You've got a big enough spot here that we could do a 6x6 or 8x8 raised bed for every family, and they can grow. We do teach them square foot gardening and companion planting. There's more than enough space that they could. They're not going to be able to do their entire grocery, but they're going to be able to supplement what they're getting in that box
Right.
from you, and then some.
And it would be healthy stuff.
Yeah. And it would be good, healthy food. And it's like, it works. We had friends of ours that went into a very poor neighborhood in Augusta, Georgia.
You
And
turn left, you go to the Masters. You turn right,
you
go
better
to
be
the
packing.
ghetto.
And they went in there and they found a chunk of property, and God just
They
blessed
scored,
it
yeah.
because it was an old
Florist.
florist.
Oh, wow.
That had a greenhouse.
So there was a greenhouse,
Wow.
old busted up greenhouse in there.
Nice.
So they went in there and they fixed up the greenhouse, and they didn't say anything when they went in there. They just went in there and just started
Just
fixing.
as the two of them, just fixing everything
Just
up.
started fixing stuff up. They
People
didn't say-
started asking questions.
People started asking questions. And so then they kind of put it out there in the neighborhood.
This is
They-
what we're trying to
They
do.
ripped out some walls in the house, and the house was just one big, huge, I think there was two big, huge classrooms in there. And it was they decked out the kitchen.
They made a commercial kitchen
Walmart backed them, and they got crock pots for everybody, in the neighborhood. And the funny thing was, 1 year later, the crime rate in that neighborhood plummeted.
Wow.
It didn't just drop a little bit; it plummeted.
Almost non-existent because everybody was exhausted for one
Right.
because they're out working all day.
Right.
They brought bees. They put bees on the
Wow.
property.
They got
nice.
everybody going with some chickens, and the kids in school,
Oh,
their attendance went up, and their grades all went up 2 letters.
every Sunday.
Wow.
So every Sunday they would have a workshop, and everybody's crock pot. They'd bring their crock pot, and they would make breakfasts to put in their freezers for their kids for the week. So every kid had breakfast from their house every morning before going to school. And so then
Nice.
you weren't draining the food program at school.
Right.
You know, they were learning how to make dinners that they could all be at work, come home to, the crock pot dinner was ready. I mean, it was huge. And then they all had raised beds in their yards, small ones, like it might only be a 4x8 or a couple of 6x3s or whatever. And but they grew, and then they had the food. They worked with SNAP and got the food, one of the food trucks to come down, one of the produce trucks. And they worked with SNAP. They were able to get 2 for 1. So for every $1 they had, it gave them $2 buying power.
Wow.
So they could,
nice.
you know, if tomatoes were, you know, $2, they only had to use $1
Right.
worth of food stamps.
And it was just, and now here we are, what, 6 years later, 7 years later, it's still going. And from my understanding, the neighborhood got together and they started dividing it up. You grow all the squash, you grow all the corn, you grow all of this, you grow, and then they meet there back because Steve and Tasha left. They're in Scotland. They turned the keys over. They basically made kind of, I don't want to say an HOA, but they kind of made a committee for the neighborhood and turned the keys over to the house.
Oh, you're fine.
And they all go in there and they all, when it's time to harvest the squash, they all go to that one particular house, harvest all the squash.
They bring it
They
back
divide
to
it
that
all up
commercial
against
kitchen
everybody
and break everything down.
and can it and freeze
awesome.
it. And,
That's awesome.
yeah. And it's so, and all it is empowering people that have a feeling of hopelessness.
Right.
And but
I mean, we've all been there. You're sitting around looking at, you know, whatever situation you have, and you're like, you know what, screw it, I'm just not even gonna try.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
And that's where a bunch of them are. Is it's like, why should I even try?
Right, exactly.
I've got all my bills paid for. I don't care who's paying them. I'm just gonna sit here and just suck it up and deal with it, you know. And that's not the way to live.
and the sense of true freedom when you don't have to rely on a broken food system to bring you unhealthy food.